Do you like the Dreamcast? I love the Dreamcast and I am on a mission to complete every single game on the system. There are almost 300 English language releases and I want you to join me on my adventure to completing them all. The order is randomly chosen. Last week's episode we took a look at Project Justice Rival Schools 2. Episode 12 is Bomberman Online. I know, I heard the tension in the room. How can you possibly beat a game that's online only? Well, not to worry my little cotton socks, because Bomberman Online actually has a dedicated single player campaign. That's nice of them. You know who else is nice? My Patreon supporters. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for helping me with the production of these videos. Not only do my supporters get loads of bonus extra stuff, they get to watch these videos early. So consider supporting me too with the link in the description, patreon.com/abitmorejordan. So, Bomberman Online, developed by Hand and Hudson Soft and published by Sega, because Sega threw so much money at everything, they offered to publish everything. It's weird to say this, but I genuinely did forget that Bomberman wasn't always a Konami franchise. Yeah, this was before the merger. The story starts off with a Zen Buddhist ninja Bomberman. Starting with a training montage is a bold move. They usually reserve that for the second act. It looks as though our white-headed bomber is going to compete in the Bomb Olympics or something like that. When we get there, we are greeted with a menu of a few events: survival, ring match, panel paint, submarine, and hyper bomber. Going into them, you'll see that there are a handful of stages, most of which are locked, and it looks like we're gonna beat them all. We're starting in the generator room in survival mode, stage 1, and it looks like we're versing the Electric Dragon team. This is your classic Bomberman style gameplay, the one you remember playing on your Super Nintendo, except this time it's 3 versus 1. There are 3 goons that you need to take out within the time limit, and of course, you can't be taken out, otherwise you lose. And lose I did. Many times. If you're unfamiliar with Bomberman, it's a simple case of lay down bombs and hope you blow up your opponent before they do it to you. It's all about setting traps, catching them off guard, and also using the handful of power-ups available, which I'll quickly go through. You can improve your blast length. Each upgrade increases the size by 1 square. This is very important because the shorter your length, the less likely you're gonna win, which can be said for most things in life, sadly. Secondly, there are the amount of bombs. When you begin, you can only plant 1 bomb at a time. You can't plant any more until the one you just planted has blown up, so you definitely need to pick up these as soon as possible. Planting only 1 bomb at a time means you will never win. It depends on the stage though, like sometimes you do already start out with a few of these stacked up to give a bit of a head start. Then there are things like the kick ability, which I also believe is vital. If you walk up to a bomb, you can kick it away, hopefully towards your opponent in time for it exploding in their face. You can speed up your walk. You can also throw bombs, which to be honest I never used. Maybe that was a mistake, but I'll deal with it. Anyways, that out of the way, you can probably see I'm doing appallingly because I am my own worst enemy. And the only time I seem to take out a foe is when they took themselves out. This took me 20 minutes on the first level alone, which is kind of worrying, but I suppose I just need to get into the groove, learn the tactics, the quirks of the AI, hopefully find a bit of cheese, and fingers crossed it becomes smoother for me. What compounds it is that it's a 2-point match, so it's best of 3. You must win twice to complete the stage. If you start taking too long, the arena gets smaller and smaller, and then you get crushed. And that is how I won the first point of my victory. It was a war of attrition between myself and the one last dude before he kicked away my bomb, but not far enough to be safe from the explosion. Lovely. The second level differs in the fact that there are now pipes where bombs can be sneakily hidden. Plus there's this crane thing overhead which does get in the way of your sight, but despite being seemingly more difficult, I won 2 matches back to back without losing at all, which was frankly a relief. Level 3 of the classic gameplay style has done away with the pipes and instead has this directional arrow thing which if you kick a bomb over it, it will fly off in the direction of whichever way it's pointing. 1 hour. 1 hour I spent on this level. And yes, I understand it's supposed to be the most difficult one of its kind in the style, but oh my god. Once again, I am my own worst enemy at times. Here's a life lesson. Don't combine bombs together, especially if you're in the path of their explosion, because if you combine them, then their explosion is exponentially increased. It doesn't help that there are now 7 enemies after you. It's insane. It means at the start, they get a massive advantage because they can blow up more boxes more quickly and pick up all the essential power-ups. Like, you need everything for this one, and I admittedly almost gave up. I thought this was the point that the game was just too tough for me, and I'm only on the 3rd level. But eventually, after some admittedly cool bomb kicks going in all the right places, I came out on top. Next up, we're going to do the Volcano stage, which is subtitled The Training School. So this time we're up against the Red Phoenix, and the rule set for this one is under the Hyper Bomber type, which isn't to defeat your opponent by directly attacking them. What you need to do is collect 3 atoms and then bring them to the target area. Simple. Well, not when you're against multiple opponents who are more than willing to blow themselves up if they can pass it on to their mates who already has 2. This is so one-sided. However, I do get it the first time of trying. Sure, the opponent did win the first round, but I did pretty well in the 2nd and 3rd, meaning I passed and could move on to the next level. Level 2, pretty much the same thing, but now there are teleportation areas to help with navigation, if you could predict where they'd actually take you. Fingers crossed not straight into a bomb blast. Surprisingly, I took the first round, but on the second one, without me seeing, one blew themselves up to give to his mate a full set, and they took it. And sadly, the 3rd round as well, meaning I lost. And since you can't see like the whole screen, you can get side blinded by a dude with a full set just romping up seemingly out of nowhere. Eventually, it took for me to come from behind to get 2 in a row to win, and it took 15 minutes on that level. The final level in this one introduces the one-way gates of sorts. I don't really know how to explain it, but you know what I'm talking about when you just look at it. There's also 5 of them, which is annoying. I actually only failed once and got it on the 2nd time. It was 12 minutes though, which means that each round dragged on a hell of a long time as we doggedly fought each other. Next up, we go to Submarine Patrol Base. While I can't say I particularly enjoyed the gameplay style, the fact that it only took 15 minutes in total filled me with pure joy. You're up against the Princess Mariners, and it's kind of like a game of battleships if it was a real-time action game. You and your enemies are separated, but like any messy divorce, you're gonna be sending bombs their way. Only this time not metaphorical. You place a bomb on your side, it waits a few seconds, then swims to the symmetrical place on your opponent's side, and you got to time it to blow them up. Each level is the same principle, but the second one offers a pipe to be sneaky in, and the final level has this rotating stream circling thing, and it's just kind of like a sushi buffet. And with all these fish getting blown to bits, Go Sushi be very happy indeed. I didn't find any tactic to this one, just plan and run. I barely even looked at my opponent's half of the screen, not because I'm a gentleman competitor, I just thought it was useless since it's so chaotic. Just run around like a headless chicken and you'll eventually get it. Next up is Diamond Canyon Excavation Point, which has you fighting against iron bulldozers. This rule set is kind of like Splatoon, but in the Bomberman world. You plant bombs, the explosion then highlights the floor in your color. You can override your opponent's color too by blasting off on their already claimed territory, so it's kind of like a game of tug and war. The spanner in the works, however, is when you get hit personally, because all your territory goes back to neutral. So if you get hit in the last second, it's pretty much game over. And you won't be surprised to hear, this happened to me quite a lot. I'd be doing just dandy until either I blew myself up or the game just decided to hate me. And because the rounds last the whole 2 minutes every time, it did feel like a slog every time it was taken from me at the last moment. The first level wasn't so bad. The second level, I did it the first time of asking, which I'm quite shocked about since it's just pure unadulterated chaos. You have this mine bomb thing that blasts out extra explosives and everyone's just getting hit left, right and center all the damn time. Whew, I only won in the last seconds because the enemy kept getting mullered too. It's just insane. There isn't really a gimmick to the last one aside from the sheer amount of enemies, and because they have their own unique color, if one of them gets blown up and loses their territory, it's not a big deal because there are 4 other colors still doing the job, so you're definitely outnumbered. It took me ages just to win 1 round, never mind the best of 3. Honestly, they won almost every single time. 1 hour and 20 minutes on this one level alone. I mean, I like this game. Mechanically, gameplay-wise, it's very solid, but they could have just chilled out a bit. Thankfully, there's just one rule set left, and it's the Tower of Wind against the Storm Giants. This has a small arena where you just have to get more hits on your enemy than they do on you. I did both the first and second levels the first time of asking. Miracle! The final level, though, has an even more tiny stage and also rogue bombs that come out of nowhere, easily trapping you in the wrong place to get an explosion to your face. But again, first time of asking, I passed all 3 levels without too much of a sweat. Where is the balance in this game? Now, that doesn't mean I finished the game, because there is something I hadn't noticed at the time, but when you complete all 3 missions in a game type, there opens up a bridge to a boss battle for that said arena. So I need to fight a bunch of bosses in a row, starting with the Thunder Bomber, who's your bog standard boss fight. Unlike you, who can only take 1 hit, you need to hit him 3 times as though he's a Mario boss or something. Took me 13 whole minutes of patience with this one, but 13 minutes, that's not too bad. At least it's not like 2 hours. I mean, no boss would take 2 hours to complete, right? These 2. I don't use the C word very often, but these 2 are the biggest set of chumps I've ever met in my life. They play the same as previously, gathering 3 atoms and then taking them to the target. However, they are so insanely fast, and they can lob the atoms to one another instantly. Not only that, but the big dude can pick up the little dude and launch him at you, which is hard to dodge. You get hit, you lose all your gear, they pick it up and instantly they win. 2 hours. This level is so wildly unfair, I can't even put it into words. They take all the power-ups, and if you're getting too many, you just get destroyed when the game feels like it, just to put you back to square one again. About an hour into playing this part, I knew it's grim, okay? Things are way too grim, and I just stopped recording because I knew this would be hours and hours, unless some sort of miracle happened. Maybe I'd get lucky, maybe I'd find a loophole, I don't know. But after mindlessly plugging away, I eventually beat these chumps and managed to start recording just before the cutscene ended. Oh, and I should mention that all these boss battles, they are in fact only 1 round. You only need to win once and it's done. It's not a best of 3, which is rather merciful on the developers' part. It's almost like they knew how cruel they were. The next boss is Vaporia Bomberman. Exactly the same concept as the normal fight, it's just 10 times more difficult because you have to hit him multiple times and he pulls out all the special moves that are just sometimes unavoidable. What a knob. Next up is Splatoon. Again, same concept, just harder. Although maybe not as hard as the 3rd level of this part. The problem here is that it randomly rains boulders, and the boss, once in a while, just says, "Smeg it, you're getting hurt," and just slams down to blow every bomb up instantly, including the one you just planted half a second ago, which then goes off in your face. I won this only by pure chance because my bomb blew him up and myself at the same time, but my paint stuck, so he didn't have any chance to react. The final boss is a genie-like thing who now tilts the battlefield, rolling the bombs in unexpected ways. Should be tough, but I kept managing to corner the AI in a bomb trap, and I ended up winning on the 2nd time of trying. I got all the medals, I'm the champion, I'm heading to the Shaolin Temple to be a badass Bomberman Buddhist warrior. Game over. Now that was a test of skill and much patience. It's a good, well-made game, but it has all the balance of a drunken walrus. Of course, the story mode isn't the main pull here, and there are a few other modes that I won't go into, but online would be the biggest selling point, but having the story mode, that was an ordeal. In terms of fun, I would give it a 6 out of 10 for the story campaign. I'm sure if you played it with friends or online, it would be way more entertaining, but there is a serviceable story campaign that I kind of enjoy despite the massively unfair difficulty. It's just not balanced in any shape or form. Sometimes it's too easy, sometimes the game just says you ain't winning. The presentation pretty good, aside from the chugging cutscenes. I think the cell shading holds up remarkably well, but the scope pretty small, only like really small arenas, but at least there is some variety. The music is nice as well. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for presentation. Difficulty, 11 out of 10. It is the hardest game I've ever completed. The cheating chumps. Completion time, 11 hours. Holy mama. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up and a comment with a bomb emoji. And if you really want to support the channel, check out Patreon. You can see all the episodes on there already. And the next one is there, Wacky Races. Check the links below to get all the great perks, and I really do appreciate the support. A big shout out to my super producers, Alexander Cato, Brent McLean, FF14 Best RPG, Vey, Sven Nowlitz, Wixit, Josh Foote, and Dustin Martin.